This is the Scalper's Gold update for October 11th. Here's our proxy, our YM continuous contract. This is the daily chart. Last time we had looked, last week, we had this daily market structure low. Said if they triggered that long, we'd get back into this 96, we'd test that 9800 area, which we did. The interesting thing now is we finally, we've been up to that 8700 or 9800 area before, but we haven't been able to close above it. And last time we talked about, we had that giant structure in place. We had the market structure high followed by a higher market structure high, followed by a lower market structure high. Okay, and that was not a good sign, but what we did get is we got this market structure low that formed off the 50-day, which is a big, support here. Got that to trigger long here. They came up, tested the 9800, and actually got to close at 9807. The first time we've closed above 9800, so that's kind of a big thing. Again, that move up into earnings season this week will get some of the major banks will start releasing the earnings, so it could be a big week here, depending if they are better than expected and what the outlook is. If they're worse than expected, what the outlook is, and so forth. We're either going to see this 10,000. This is our bigger target up here, 10,000. So we got a shot now that we closed above 9,800. The next big target there is 10,000, and that's when things should get interesting, as far as is this market for real, or are we just kind of setting up for? Let's go to the. I'll pull up the monthly chart here first, or are we just setting up for? Here's our big down leg. You get a little reprieve, and then. We just setting up for that. We'll see. This is why we're going to continue to monitor the internals and make sure they can support any kind of move ups here. So again, the scalper's gold was long here. You had a market structure low on the monthly that triggered long, so that is long. We're above the our bull bear line, the 13S. Let's just take a look at the weekly. Okay, so we've got now this weekly market structure low that has formed. Okay, the scalper's gold long in the weekly was 9,067. Okay, we're up, about 700 points or so on the weekly trigger. Okay, there's a market structure low this week. Now, depending on, let's see, the trigger for that, the weekly trigger to the long side is going to be 98.15. And this prior market structure high there is 98.57. So we can trigger long at 15, but we really still got to clear that 57 on the weekly. If they do, then 10,000 target, we should get there. Okay, on the other hand, if it so happens, here's back to the daily. If we do get, let's say earnings season disappoints, this, we get a market structure high to form. I'll make it a little clearer here. Kind of get this this pattern test back down to the 50-day. So we'll see. Earnings season, like I said, getting in full gear. And that should give us some more idea of where things are headed, depending on what those earnings look like overall. And the other thing I just was going to cover is, the ranges in the market have been fairly small overall. I'm going to pull in the 1-minute chart just to give you an idea what kind of the typical trades are in this type of market. This was from Friday. Usually on Friday we like to get a 1 or 2 trades in early and then call it a day, because typically Friday afternoons are not very productive. So here's our scalper's gold system. We have our trend. We only go long if the trend is blue. If the trend is yellow, we can go long or short. If the trend is red, we can only take shorts. We ignore any long signals. Up here we get our long signals. Short signals are in red, long signals are in green. The red and blue dots are stops, protective stops. As the trade progresses, the system tells you where to put those stops. All these numbers come out in real time before price gets to these numbers. So the market opens here at 9:30. We wait 2 minutes before we start taking any signals. We do get a signal, a short signal at 97.19. But you see when the price comes and hits 97.19, our trend is blue. That means we ignore short signals. We're only looking for longs. A couple minutes later, we get a long signal here. Hard to see that, 97.31. Okay, that was hit here. Our trend is long. We can take that. So before the price gets to 97.31, we have a buy stop to go long at 31. Okay, that hits, and the price moves higher. And again, this is kind of a typical move in this market, where you get your range during the day is anywhere from 120, 150 points or so. Comes up, pulls back here. We get a red dot here telling us we need to place our first stop. We're going to move up from our normal emergency stop of 30 points up to a protective stop here, which is going to be 97.45. I came up here, didn't quite get another leg before it pulled back. We got our second stop at 97.50. Now, when we ever deal with round numbers like 40, 50, 60, and we get a stop here like 97.50, we're going to go a tick below that, 97.49, in which case it would allow you to catch this next little leg. You finally did stop at 56. If you took 50, if you got stopped at 50, you took 20 points. That's a pretty average kind of typical trade to the good side in this market, given the, like I said, 100, 120 point ranges during the day. I'm sorry, 120, 150 or so point ranges during the day. So just kind of a typical trade there, a 20 to 26 pointer. That's kind of typical of what to expect. As the ranges expand, we start getting into, basically the cutoff is kind of like 200. Start getting beyond 200 point ranges, then we're going to start to see, the typical winning trade go from probably about 50 to 100 points on a single trade. So that's what we want to see as these ranges expand. If they don't, we're going to continue to see these 20, 30 pointer at best type of trades. All right, hope that's helpful. And we'll do it all again next week.